The Minister for Justice, Constitutional Affairs and Prison Reforms has moved the second reading on the bill titled Recovery of Possession of Premises Given on Lease. More than the bill that he has moved, it is a bill that he did not move that is of concern. Nevertheless, I just want to say something on the bill that has been moved. In our experience, it is state institutions in the past that have entered into lease agreements with persons who are friendly with the government of the day, and those lease agreements did not have a termination clause. It was deliberately done. Now, no self-respecting lawyer or notary will prepare a lease agreement that does not have a termination clause. But the UDA did that. And so, this is a welcome move that even if no termination clause is there, it can now be under the law, it can be terminated for default and so on. But the bill that he did not move is the Bureau of Rehabilitation bill. The government seems to have some kind of obsession with this bureau that they want to create. The Supreme Court this time round has made an excellent determination on this bill. I've said this in this house before also in relation to this particular determination. This determination, like one other determination in the past that I am aware of, the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Authority bill, specifically says that this bill as a whole violates the Constitution. Nevertheless, since it is their constitutional duty to specify what provisions need a two-thirds majority, what provisions need a referendum in addition, and how those can be remedied, they have made certain suggestions. And the government, although the bill has been looked upon as something that is obnoxious to the rule of law and constitutionalism, still wants to pursue this. So that's a concern. Even today, the minister did not withdraw the bill. The minister, I'm glad the minister is now coming into the chamber. The minister only put it off and has said that they'll take into take certain concerns before finalizing this bill. Now, one of the important concerns we have is as to who constitutes this bureau. It can't be the military. If you want to rehabilitate drug dependents, I don't understand what the military or security officials have to do with that. That has to be experts in that area. It's not an easy task to rehabilitate drug dependents. The Supreme Court has very specifically struck down different categories of persons to be subjected to this, and said for drug dependents it can, or any other person identified by law, meaning that such a person today should have been identified by law. Not for the, in the committee say governments to say drug dependents or any other person to be identified by law. That is keeping the whole field open, which is what you wanted to do in the first place, which is what has been disallowed by court. Therefore, the constitutionality of that phrase is a serious question. I say that cannot be enacted in that way. That will be violating the caution expressed by the Supreme Court. There is one other fundamental issue that I want to address to the minister. When a person is deprived of his personal liberty, that must happen only after a judicial pronouncement. Now, this is a departure from that norm. Here you are envisaging a situation where without court finding a person guilty of certain things, that person can be incarcerated, I'm using that word advisedly, because he's being deprived of his personal liberty. There are provisions in the bill that say that if he runs away, you can catch him and bring him back. The one important fundamental in a drug rehab program is the voluntariness of the person, that the person must want to be rehabilitated. You can't force it down his throat. So, in addition to a judicial pronouncement, I also say, in a matter where drug dependency is concerned, you must also have a medical opinion. With both those conditions attached, then you can set up a rehabilitation center, but it must be administered, run by experts in that field, not security experts.